Welcome back to Deep House with Larry White at the historic home of Sam and Alfreda Maloof in Altaloma, California. I was Sam's first apprentice and I worked with him for 29 years. Lauren Verdugo, my apprentice, is here with me today as we continue to explore the wonderful artifacts found in the Maloof collection. In today's third episode, we're going to feature an upholstered occasional chair that Sam designed in the mid-1980s. It's a prime example of his evolving aesthetic.
All right, Larry, so this looks to me like it's the start of a new era in Sam's career.
There's some features on this chair that are very different and they're very transitional. And I would say probably in the mid-70s on, his pieces became more and more sculptural. He was developing the hard lines and the shape forms more and more. And you can see here how the hard lines now are going all the way down the leg and rolling into the arm and around the arm and coming back and then kind of fading out here. So that kind of treatment will continue through the next decade where the lines carry all the way around. You can trace a line all the way around the piece. We'll look at some of those later. But a couple of things that are really interesting about this piece. It was made in 1984. So one of the first features that I wanted to point out was you'll notice the arc of the leg here. He started playing with this bent leg in the late 70s and carried this on through a few more years. And so this was a departure from the straight leg that I pointed out in some of the early chairs, that
Right.
the legs just went straight up. And so now he's bending that leg into a form. And the other interesting thing is he's been playing with bandsaw spindles for a number of years, different shapes, S-curves, and trying out different elements to find the perfect comfort spot.
So we're going from lathe-made
Yeah.
turn spindles to now
He's
on bandsaw.
He's moved away from the turn
Okay.
spindles, yeah. And so the interesting thing is, if you look at it, it's one continuous arc rather than having an S-curve or anything like that. This gives you great lower back support, but because it continues on up and the legs are curved, it throws your shoulders further back, so it's not quite as comfortable as it could be. And after he made a few pieces like this, he realized that he wanted to bring the back forward, so that's where he developed the classic S curve for the rocking chair from that point on. And then subtly refined that as he moved through the decade. But anyway, so this has some great features on it that are transitional, and we're really lucky that we have it in the collection for that reason. The arms, as you'll notice now, have become wider and more spatulate and basically smoother because now he has people working for him that really like smooth stuff. So they're really making the lines crisp and really working on those forms to make them perfect. A chair like this would take about probably about 2.5, 3 weeks to make, to shape it and sand it after Sam put it together.
How long do you think you would spend on a piece like this if you were working on it? How long would it take for you to sand it, even?
Probably just the sanding part would be about 2 weeks, probably.
Wow.
And you'll notice here on this part, you'll see how this has been cut in now, and he's developing these recessed areas and the hard lines in relation to them. So the pieces are just becoming more and more sculptural as he's moving along, playing with the reflection of light and that kind of thing. The other interesting thing is he's trying out a new leg joint here. He's been using this for a while, but this is that interlocking front leg joint that goes into a dado sequence that locks that leg right into the side frame, something that he improved and used continually from then on as he developed the solid seats. The other part that's interesting, though, is because it's upholstered and it's an older style, he doesn't use that on the back. This is the classic butt joint that he used throughout the early part of his career. So it's transitional, and the front leg is now using an entirely new attachment, a system of joinery that he was developing.
So this
Anyway.
is no longer more roundover based. It's
Right.
mainly sculptural elements.
He's moving away from that California roundover that they used to call his work, which he didn't care for too much, but it was it pretty generally described what he was doing. And we're getting into a much more sophisticated form now.
Well, all right. I think it's about time to look at a rocker, so we'll see that in our next segment.